Ciao.
Ooh, thank goodness, because I was getting, what's the word I'm looking for? Mensch.
That's what you're looking for.
Might be using that wrong. Hey, Jeff Gamet is here with us, everybody. I'm not using that word wrong, by the way. It was just a whatever. My Yiddish is impeccable. Don't question it. Something interesting. So I was watching you on the social medias the other day, and you and I had something in common last week. We both took delivery, I want to say Tuesday of last week, so 1 week ago today, of the Mac Mini. I mean, not the same one. I got mine, you got yours, that kind of thing. But
don't you mean HomePod Mini?
HomePod Mini is exactly what I mean, because no, I didn't get a Mac Mini. Thank you.
See, I figure you were just testing me to see if...
No, I think I have finally broken myself of calling the Apple Watch SE the iPhone SE. I think I have finally broken myself of that, although now that I brought it up again, I feel certain I will again. And yeah, HomePod Mini is absolutely what I meant. I did not mean Mac Mini, nor did I mean iPhone 12 Mini, nor any other mini thing. Many, many things.
There's a lot of minis.
Them. There are indeed. Some might say many. So you took delivery of a HomePod Mini.
I did.
Remind me, did you already have a HomePod?
I did.
Okay.
I still do.
Okay. So tell me why you got another one, or why you got the HomePod Mini, rather.
Well, part of it, I think, is it hit the right psychological price point.
Okay.
Under $100 is or that $90 and less. That's a place where it's easy for people to make that snap decision and say, yeah, I'm going to get that.
Yeah. I think you and I were actually on the same call with Chuck Joyner when Brittany Smith said, Apple made something less than $100. Yes, I will take one because it's $100.
Because it's less than $100.
Right. I'm willing to play with that. Okay. So they hit the right price point psychologically. And
I figured at that price point, I could check it out. Mm-hmm. And if I really didn't like it, it would probably be pretty easy for me to either just return it or find someone else that would want to take it off my hands.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I was also really curious to see how it would fit in with my HomePod, because it took a while for me to really come to terms with what HomePod is for me. Mm-hmm. And finally it clicked. It's a kitchen timer that also streams music really well. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at the HomePod Mini as a way to extend the sound and fill up my place better with audio, and not have it be the kind of kludge thing that I'm doing with a series of Amazon Echoes and external speakers, and it would be a cleaner, more transparent system.
Without getting too personal, do you mind if I ask, how big is your place?
My place is it's not that big. Okay. It's a living room and 2-bedroom.
Okay.
But it's
single
it's
story?
More like a shot. Yes, I mean the door is on the first floor, and then I walk upstairs and I'm in the place.
Oh, okay.
So it's like this shotgun layout. Right. My place was built in 1903. It's really freaking cool.
You can shoot all the way through it, but you have to come upstairs to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Colorado. You have to work for it.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. As part of that whole mountain ethos that we talked so much about in the last episode. So there is a thing that you're sort of alluding to, I think, and I'm curious. Have you done the thing where you sync the music all through the house, so it's playing the same thing in the kitchen and wherever the HomePod Mini is?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
How's that working?
And surprisingly well.
Okay.
Like I'm really pleased with the sound. The Mini fits in the whole home audio thing for me.
Okay.
Really well. It doesn't sound like as I'm walking away from actually the living room where the HomePod is, and then walk down this hall that's along each of the rooms, and think, wow, the sound coming out of what's actually my office, where the Mini is, sounds radically different. It fits together well. It balances well.
There is I don't know if it's my imagination. I don't think it is. I mean, am I right in thinking that the HomePod does sound, I mean, it sounds a little bit better, right? I mean, the bass it's a tiny bit more resonant. I'm not mistaken on that, am I?
The HomePod, I'd say the sound overall is better than the HomePod Mini.
But not ridiculously, though. I mean, the HomePod Mini doesn't feel... I have a jam box, I think it's called, that I've been listening to for the past 7 or 8 years. And what I like about it is I can carry it around with me wherever I go. Cost me like $50, seriously, 7 years ago, I think, at Best Buy. And what's great is I can sync my iPad to it relatively easily. I can sync my phone to it incredibly easily. I haven't really tried other stuff, but it's just great for, if I'm someplace that's going to be a little too loud for just the speaker on my phone. And now I hate the way it sounds. I mean, and the thing is, I always knew it didn't sound great, but now it sounds bad because I've got the HomePod Mini, which I will grant you cost me twice as much, and it is not portable. But I've been amazed at how good the HomePod Mini sounds, actually. But if I go from, the room that has the HomePod Mini to the room that has the HomePod, well, I mean, it's the difference between seeing a band at like the local bar and that bigger place that's like, 500 people as opposed to around the corner.
Yeah, back when we could do that.
Those were the days.
Yeah, it's very easy for me to tell the difference between the HomePod and the HomePod Mini. The bass on the HomePod is deeper and richer, and I feel like the HomePod Mini, it doesn't get the mid tones as well, and the highs, so the real treble, that can be a little bit. I don't want to say tinny, but like too bright,
right?
Sometimes, but I'm saying that because I'm being as like really critical,
right,
of the sound on this. I feel like the HomePod Mini punches above its weight.
When I say anything bad about the sound of the HomePod Mini, it is only literally I am walking from the room with the HomePod Mini to the HomePod. If I had never heard either of those things before and I heard this, I would be incredibly impressed with the sound. Now, I got to say really quickly, I had a listener named Roger write to me last week who said something during my live show that I was just like, I was hoping he hadn't noticed that I nearly fell asleep while I was reading what he had written, but apparently I did not do a good job because he actually said, if the subject made your eyes glaze over, I apologize. Then he went on to explain, music recorded in stereo splits the audio into left and right channels, and some music bands use this to create a spatial feel. Like his feeling is it loses some of what you're talking about, not only in the like different ranges, but also just the whole spatial aspect of it. Because he's talking about ways that even in a mono, or even in a single speaker, they could use the different bands to sort of make the sound seem richer, make the sound seem fuller, and he feels like that's lost with the HomePod Mini. That said, I don't know that he's actually tried the HomePod Mini. I think he's talking about, what he's talked about forever. Then again, he also does say that he's a huge fan of cabinet speakers, that he can just sit right between the two of them, which I will say I do miss that sort of spatial feel.
Yeah, I totally get what he's saying, and I agree. For example, listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon on a HomePod, it's just not right.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to tape your iPhone like to your forehead so you get both speakers
right
equally distant from the middle of your head, or put on good headphones, or get to a good stereo. Let me ask you one other question.
That's not how I use the HomePod.
Yeah. Let me ask you one other question really quickly. So, $99 is not a bad price for Apple. $99 is a bad price when you think about how many Echo Dots you can get.
Yes.
Is this for people who are already in the Apple ecosystem? Is this for people who thought, well, I was never going to spend that much on a HomePod, but I am curious about how Apple is doing this? Who is this device for?
I'd say it's for both.
Okay.
If I didn't have a HomePod already, I would look at the HomePod Mini as an interesting entry point into the HomePod ecosystem. As someone that already had a HomePod and really didn't feel like spending $300 on a second HomePod, the HomePod Mini became a very easy choice. And it's also a great experiment for me because I've been using a series of Amazon Echo and Echo Dots throughout my place, with external speakers attached to them to create that whole home audio thing. And it's fine, but it tends to the latency tends to get the different echoes drifting, and then I have to tell it to stop and then start again so that it resynchronizes, and and it's okay. And sure, I could get 3 Echo Dots for the price of one HomePod Mini, but at the same time, I don't think I would need to get that many HomePod Minis to accomplish the same thing that I've done with a bunch of Echoes.
No, I've got a friend who I think has a place smaller than yours who's already talking about his need for 4 HomePod Minis after having one. And I'm like, dude, but whatever. It's his money. It's fine.
I can see getting one more HomePod Mini.
Yeah.
But with a HomePod and then a HomePod Mini, one in each of the other rooms, I would more than fill up this space with good sounding audio.